And I should be live right now. What's up? Welcome to the live. Got some more T-bait today. Now I know this is a little bit weird as far as like my times when I be recording, but I know it's a Tuesday, but I figured I'd get the video up anyway. And plus I wanted to read the chapter now. But I only got like probably like an hour and like 5 minutes or so. So I'm gonna try to get through this pretty quick. I know most of my videos I normally be about it'd be about an hour. Sometimes it go longer, maybe like an hour and a half, depending upon how interesting the chapter is, I would say. But I'm back again, haven't gone anywhere, and let's just get back into it. So 469, Hunted, and I know last chapter we ended off, it was pretty much Power Ranger, Megatron, not Megatron, Transformer type of, mechanical suit. Like I'm really interested in seeing what exactly they're going to be able to do with this suit. So that's really cool. I wonder how many suits they have, because if they have like a dozen, it'll help. But if they only got like three, then I don't really see how it can help that much. But they could only have just one. Maybe that's the reason why we're only saying one. But maybe this one could be stronger than White Core Lance. If one Power Ranger suit, Transformer suit type of thing, if only one of those is as strong as like a White Core Mage, like the White Core Mage now, not the Lances previously, but like how strong they are now, how they can go toe to toe with a Scythe and stuff. If they're that strong, like Scythe level strong, okay, now we're talking. But if they're not, if they're like, let me see what I compare. If they're like retainer level, and they got like, I don't know, half a dozen of them, that could be pretty good. If they got like six of them and they can get them at like somewhere near retainer level, that could really be a big power boost. But if they only got one and is at Scythe level, that could be a good power boost, but probably not as good as like six retainers. But yeah, I'm curious to see how many they're actually gonna have. So let's just get into it. So the Hunted, Eleanor Leywin, okay. Is that a person? All right. I should probably shut this window really quick. You know what? I'm gonna shut this window. I'll be back. I know it's stupid. I'm gonna shut this window. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm good. Okay, I'm good. So like I said, depending on how many of the Transformers they got, that'd be really dope. Depending on how many they got. So we'll see. But let's see. Eleanor Leywin. All right. Is that a person? A shiver ran down my spine as I realized what I was seeing. There was no mana coming from them, but yet they're releasing such a strong. So that's kind of strange to me. It's just like, how do they release a strong aura, but there's no mana signature? Because I'm thinking the aura is like King's Force, right? That's what Arthur was talking about. So how can they have a strong aura but no mana signature? Because everybody who had a mana signature had some sort of ether with Arthur or just mana with everybody else. So that's strange. So this is Gideon's secret project, Kara said beside me, the words thick in her mouth. I shot the young woman with the short golden hair a worried look. We need to get you all out of here. Wait, no, what am I talking about? We need to get you all to a healer. Hesitant, wait, she shot the young woman with a short golden hair a worried look. Short golden hair. Is she talking about Enola? I think she might be talking about Enola. What's up, Levo? It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while since you've been in one of the lives. But I don't know exactly how long it's been. I know that I typically try to upload once a week, but sometimes it goes a little bit longer, like today. It's on a Tuesday instead of a normal day, which is like a Saturday or Sunday if I'm a little bit late. Now I'm like super late. But anyway, So yeah, I'm wondering. I'm hoping this chapter's gonna be good though. I'm hoping we can really see what this Transformer Power Ranger suit, what this thing can really do, because it really all depends, and how many they have. How many they have is also really important. So she shot the young woman with the short golden hair a worried look. We need to get you all to a healer. Hesitant, still not quite sure what these Alacrians were thinking, I added, it looks like the battle is turning. The lizard person thing was so fast. The lizard person thing. Oh yeah, the suit, because she said it was like a lizard person thing. And I thought it was a skitter, but it wasn't a fucking skitter. The lizard person thing was so fast that it had already reached the highway, leaping 20 feet in the air to clear a little pastry shop and land on the embankment right in front of several groups of Alacrians who had reached the lowest levels. The Alacrians began to throw spells, but the many streaks of orange, green, and red mostly bounced off the gray scales. So maybe it's not okay. Okay. So when I think about Power Rangers, when I think about, you said been behind T-Bait lately, but I'm sure it's getting good. Yeah, like, I get what you're saying. Been a little bit behind T-Bait. I don't always keep up on it all the time. Like all my live reactions I make, they're all true. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm pretending or anything like that. Like, this is my first time reading every single chapter that I've written. No, sometimes I wait. Sometimes I'll be interested in reading a chapter, but then I don't. I'm like, let me just go live reading a chapter. I don't want to read a chapter and then like skip a chapter and not go live. You know, so. But but I wanna talk about other stuff too, but that just happened at a later time. But anyway, so what I was saying about this Power Ranger, so this Power Ranger Transformer suit is not really like that. It's more thin, it's more compact, so it's more like a Iron Man type of suit thing. I'm trying to think of something that might be thinner than an Iron Man suit. Because it says like it's like a scales and stuff, so it's really thin. It's not big and bulky. So that's really cool too, because that's gonna make it look a whole lot better. Because thin and like, I don't know, sleek is more cooler looking than like a big ass bulky robot or some type of thing like that. But okay, so they're throwing spells at the suit. The Alacrians began. Let me change this to make it to where. Okay, cool. So the Alacrians began to throw spells, but the many streaks of orange, green, and red mostly bounced off the gray scales. The thinged soldier suit, I couldn't make up my mind what to call it, spun, swiping away two strikers with a single blow of its tail. It's got a tail, but a single blow of its tail and showing us his back. You would think that if they made this suit, they really got to spend some time training it. Like, how you gonna get used to like having a tail and then using the tail as a weapon? Like, you really have been taking some time trying to train and make sure you master this suit. That's cool as hell, man. That just shows you like what they can do with like quote unquote technology. Cause they can have a whole like fighting force with these suits and shit, man. That's crazy. And have it be powered by like mana crystals or some shit like that. Like I can just see like a whole new society where like they don't have like regular soldiers. It's probably gonna be controlled by the government. Government control. That's probably what it's gonna be. But I can see them having like a whole society of like, the police, quote unquote, and they're all in these suits because, maybe people's average skill level with mana has gone up. And so, you got, I can see a whole nother story with this kind of like going on with like maybe another event happen. Maybe somebody, my mind is going all over the place. Like maybe somebody like in like future in like, okay, what am I trying to say? Like way into the future of the story, right? So they say they got like these policemen with these suits or whatever because people are just on average a whole lot stronger than what they really are or what they normally are like nowadays. And so like the people who could potentially be villains, because I'm thinking it's like an Avatar: The Last Airbender type of thing. But like the people who could potentially be villains, they're a lot stronger now, whatever, and it might be another like a Grona level villain type of thing, where maybe he found some artifact in a relic tombs or some shit like that, and he's gonna use it to try to wipe people out or whatever, or maybe it was like an Agrona, sympathizer or something like that, and then now Arthur's gotta come in and save the day again, or maybe Arthur's got a kid and his kid gotta come in. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see a whole nother story like being made, and just like all the technology is way better, and like people are just stronger on average, kind of like Naruto type of thing, where all the kids are stronger than the adults were when they were their age or whatever. But that's where my mind just immediately went with this whole robot, not robot, but like this little thing. Cut it out. God, dog just chewing all on herself and shit. Anyway, so let me keep going. Um, where am I at? Where am I at? I couldn't make up my mind. Okay, so I couldn't make up my mind what to call it. Spun swiping away two strikers with a single blow of his tail. See, I need to stop talking because this is gonna be a long ass chapter. I only got like an hour and 5 minutes, so I can't have this go for super long. So I really gotta try to get through this. So two strikers with a single blow of his tail and showing his back, which had a framework of some kind of metal fixed right into his flesh, scales, meat, and bone. It got flesh? What the hell is this thing? How do you get inside? Metal fixed right into the flesh, scales, meat, and bone. Any gaps in the steel and flesh were covered by more of the transparent mana barrier. Okay, so maybe the transparent mana barrier is what they. That's wild. Okay, a second of the human. Oh, another one. So we got two. Okay, so a second of the human piloted mana beast suits reached the battle. This one had thick, bleached gray fur, missing in tufts. The arms were powerfully built and supported with more metal, and armor plates were inset into his flesh across his broad chest and ribs. Tusks protruded to each side of his pilot's face, where the mana beast's wide jaw would have been. It cleared a 10-foot jump with ease, soaring past the striker to crush and gore a shield. Man, okay, so we got two so far. Well, we got two. More of the strange, somewhat grotesque things came out. So more. So how many they got? More of the strange, somewhat grotesque things came out, and soon a small army was sweeping the Alacrians from the streets. I probably should have felt relief or even glory at the victory, but really all I felt was a faint queasiness which moved into my head and made me dizzy. Searching inside, I realized I depleted more of my mana than I first thought. Within my body, 5 spheres of mana burned brightly. Wait, what does she mean? I depleted more of my mana than I first thought. Within my body, 5 spheres of mana burned brightly, each one sitting at a primary intersection of my mana channels. So she got spheres of mana? Maybe she's using that to keep track of how much mana she has. That's new. I reached for one of these spheres, which I had painstakingly gathered and stored within myself. Oh, so like she gathered her own. Wait. So are these more like mana backup? Like, is this like backup mana spheres where like if she uses up too much of her mana, she can go and get the mana from one of the spheres and replenish her mana that way, but she just have to like slowly like fill it up. That's why she said like painstakingly gather and store it within herself. That's cool as hell. That's cool. I mean, she can have like a lot of them and like not run out of mana as fast as. That's cool as hell. That's really damn cool. I didn't even think she could do that. But it makes sense because she still haven't tapped the full potential of what she could do with her new room. So when my consciousness touched one, it melted away into pure mana, which then rushed through my channels and into my core, revitalizing me. That is so dope. That is so dope. So she got 5 of them. So now she's got 4, and she can just replenish her mana. Like that's super cool. That's super cool. My grip on Kara tightened. Come on, we need to find Mom. Boo's with her. Hopefully still at the Earthborn Institute where I left her. We're almost there. But my guardian. Kara looked over her shoulder back in the direction she originally appeared. In turn, I shot a pointed look at the rest of our group. The 2 Alacrian boys carrying the unconscious girl with the short golden hair, Mela and Kara herself. Wait. So the unconscious girl must be a Nola, right? The Alacrian boys carrying the unconscious girl with the short golden hair, Mela and Kara herself, who could barely stand, even with the mana I'd given her. I knew I could condense mana into a kind of litter to carry her friend. Condense it into a litter? What the hell is a litter? but it was already going to be a difficult journey. We'll have to send someone when we reach the Institute. Kara reluctantly nodded, and I started moving away cautiously, leading the group of Alacrians towards shelter and hopefully my mom. We hadn't gone far when one of the pilots, this one in a silver-furred man of beast, much like a bear, its torso opened. Okay, so it opens from the torso, but shrouded with the transparent barrier, its inside supported by a structure of bluish metal. Oh, bluish metal, not blurish metal. Bluish metal charged up to us. Thankfully, he recognized me, although I wasn't sure how he could see with the rune-covered cloth across his eyes, and quickly accepted that I had taken the group of wounded, tired young Alacrian prisoners before moving off again. Well, let me reread that. I wasn't sure how you could see with the rune-covered cloth around across his eyes, and quickly accepted that I had taken the group. Okay, so he accepted that she's taking them prisoner. Okay, I got that. All right, we made it to the level of the Earthborn Institute, not far from its gates, and I was surprised to see them shut. Still supporting the majority of Kara's weight, I shouted up at the guards, "Hey, open up! I have wounded prisoners who need to reach the emitter, Alice Lewin." A dwarf with a trim black beard and flat, crooked nose peered out of an arrow slit, his helm scraping the sides of the narrow opening. "The Earthborn Institute is in lockdown, Eleanor. I can't unseal the doors until Lord Carnelian himself releases the hold." Carnelian, I think that's one of the other dragons that's in charge. I gaped up at the guard. Whose name was Bulgermud? Whose name was Bulgermud? What the fuck kind of name was that? Is my mom still there? He blanched. I heard her yelling even through the inner doors. I believe it was her intention to join the fighting, or at least get out there to utilize her skills as a healer, but she was caught within when Lord Earthborn locked the palace down. So now Lord Earthborn, so talking about Micah's dad. So he locked the place down. But who the fuck is Cornelian though? Isn't that the dragon? So Lord Earthborn, which is Micah's dad, locked the institute down until the dragon came back. That's strange. Why would he? I don't know. That's some cowardly shit, though. But then again, I mean, it's not really that cowardly if they're being attacked and they want to like set up defenses or something. But why would it be a problem letting somebody in if they're an ally? You know, like unless they got like a horde of people behind them, like why would it be a problem letting in one of your allies? That doesn't make any sense. So she was caught within when Lord Earthborn locked the palace down. I turned around to look at my prisoners. Although their curse hadn't been set off by their defeat, I couldn't be confident that they weren't still a threat, or that they themselves weren't in danger. My eyes slid off them to where more of the Mana Beast pilots were fighting in the distance, pushing the Alacrians back and hurting them or hunting them through the city. Perhaps it didn't matter. Gideon's secret project seems to have been a success, and although the battle hasn't been won yet, it wouldn't take too long now. Still, I couldn't seem to release the knot that had formed in my stomach. "Is there somewhere else we can go?" Mela asked, her voice small. "Enola needs help. There'll be an emitter or two in Lodenhold," I answered, knowing I didn't sound entirely confident. "We might be able to reach the palace if the fighting isn't too bad." "Ceres," Kara said, her voice raspy with pain and fatigue. "We should find Ceres or Lyra. They need to know everything. They can end the fighting." So, I mean, but they already kind of know. They're not really, like they already kind of know what's going on. I don't understand why finding Ceres would be that important, because they know what's going on. They're fighting Byron. Well, Lyra isn't, but Ceres is, though. Remembering the presence of the two powerful Alacrians who were my brother's allies, I searched for the signs of their battle, only to realize that I could no longer sense it. Activating the first phase of my beast will, I drew on... I forgot she had her beast will. I completely forgot about her beast will, man. Okay, so activating the first phase of my beast will, I drew on the senses of a guardian beast and scanned the city. following the signs of where the powerful mages had clashed. I sensed the distant but muted mana signatures of white core mages. Lance Byron has driven them into some of the side tunnels, I pointed. There, where that barrier is completely shattered. Kara had closed her eyes and was frowning with concentration. I can barely sense anything. I'm too weak. Nerves grip me like the claws of what? How the fuck you say that shit? Mechanized. I think it's a mechanized mana beast. Now battling the Alacrian invaders all across the city, but I shook them off. My own life and the lives of those following me relied on me keeping a level head. Man, she's so experienced. She's like, oh, let me keep everything level. I can't let my emotions get the best of me. Since there was no point in begging Bolgermud, I instead inspected the smooth stone walls of the Earthborn Institute's outer courtyard. They were 20 feet high, at least, with no grooves or imperfections for good. I wonder why the hell is this shit closed, though? Why is it locked down? Like, maybe is a reason to, like, delay them getting healed for a reason. Maybe something's going to happen, and there's a reason for them getting that delay in healing. Because it's kind of crazy that they got shit locked down. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I get y'all in defensive mode, but you should be able to let someone in. Like, it won't take anything to let someone in and then just lock it back up again. Like, that shit's stupid. But anyway, so she inspected the smooth stone walls of the Earthborn Institute's outer courtyard. They were 20 feet high at least, with no grooves or imperfections for getting a handhold, so she can't climb it. There was no way I could get Kara over or the injured girl over. There were the newly installed bunkers, but we'd have to go all the way through the city to reach them. And even if we did, would there be any emitters there? Enola needed help immediately. What happened to Enola? Did she get hit in the head or something? I can't remember. We have to do something, the boy with the dark skin, Valen, I thought they called him, said, tense as a drawn bow. We can't just stand here and wait for one side or the other to decide to attack us. No one is going to attack you, I started, but my words turned into a yelp as a dark fire. What? As dark fire suddenly rained from the. Well, if it's dark fire, that's not the Dicathians. That's the fucking Alacrians. They don't the ones that got dark fire, or one of the wraiths. So yeah, dark fire suddenly rained from the air, splashing against the Earthborn Institute's outer walls. Okay, so they're not attacking them. They're attacking the Institute. I threw up a barrier of bright white mana around us, and Seth conjured a barrier beneath mine. What the? I felt the fire burning through my mana like it was alive inside my mana veins. Oh yeah, that fire, man, that shit ain't no joke. So we'll see kind of what happens now. I wonder how much she can actually take of that fire, cause that ain't no. Okay, let me keep on going. So I felt the fire burning through my mana like it was alive in my mana veins. Soul fire, Kara gasped. She was frantically searching the cavern for the spell's source, but who? I gritted my teeth so hard they hurt, giving every ounce of my concentration to hold the barrier in place. The black flame, soul fire, kept burning through in small patches even as I absorbed a second of my mana reservoirs. Bruh, she can't be burning out her mana that's easy. So why don't she like try to capture it and maybe you can capture the soul fire? And then even though it's still burning through your mana, you can capture it fast enough to be able to haul it off somewhere else. So that way you don't got to keep on, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe she can't touch it or manipulate it in any sort of way. Maybe it just, I don't know. Maybe you let go of the shield in that particular area. No, but then the soul fire will come down. I don't know. But she can't keep that shield up and just have that soul fire just burning through her mana like that. So it kept burning through in small patches, even as I absorbed a second of the mana reservoirs. And it was only due to Seth's secondary barrier that we weren't engulfed. How much fire is it, though? It was the most powerful spell I'd ever felt, and it wasn't even targeted toward us. The flames were raining down over half of Eldoriel. On a level below us, I watched as the gray fur of an upright thorn growler, which was supported by a complex exoskeleton, exoskeletal. I don't know how to say this shit. I know exoskeleton, but then it's exoskeletal. Yeah, exoskeletal. That's a hard word to say. Anyway, the structure of the bluish steel and mechanical parts I couldn't describe dissolved beneath the flames. Okay, so this is good. So we're now getting a better understanding of like how durable these mana beast body things are. And so they can't take soul fire. So if somebody throws some soul fire at them, they can't they gotta dodge because they can't survive that hit. So that gives you a better idea of like how good their defense is. So basically they can't tango with a scythe at this point because a scythe can use soul fire, and if they can use soul fire, it's a wrap. It's a wrap for them. Unless they're fast enough to dodge, but I doubt that because Cadell could do so much crazy ass shit with his soul fire. And then you also got Ceres and you got Dragar. Yeah, they're not at a scythe level at all. So they're probably more like a retainer. But can some of the retainers use Soulfire too? So they're probably not at retainer either. Yeah, they're probably below retainer. So, okay, at least defense. Maybe some of the other ones, maybe they can do some crazy ass dodging to where it doesn't matter. We got to learn a little bit more. A little bit more. So let me see. So it dissolved beneath the flames. The translucent barriers of mana shrouding the pilot within fizzled away, and then the flames ate into the pilot too. The suit, and then the suit too. So like you can't even like repurpose the suit. Once the flames go through the suit, it's done. So that's one suit that's literally just dissolved, destroyed, extinguished. Like you can't even get it back anymore. So it's just like, man, that's destructive. That's really destructive. All that time, all that energy and investment, that's probably like $1 million suit or some shit like that, right? As far as like money wise, and it's just gone, just like that with some Soulfire. Anyway, the suit and the pilot collapsed, neither moving again. Suddenly, the fiery rain faded, and I released the shield with a gasp. There were several explosions all at once. The three of the stone-shrouded pathways out of the city just burst inward with a hail of rock and dust. Soldiers in the black... Let me charge this phone, actually. I thought I was charging it, but it's not being charged. So the translucent barriers of mana shroud and the pilot fizzled away. Suddenly, the fiery rain faded. I released the shield with a gasp. There were several explosions all at once. And three of the stone-shrouded pathways out of the city burst inward with a hail of rock and dust. Soldiers in the black and crimson of Elacria began to pour through in groups of 3 or 4. Okay, so they got groups of Elacrians pouring through the gaps. Well, okay. I gasped at Kara and others, but I could tell from their expressions that they were just as surprised as I was. The soldiers piloting the Mana Beast suits, that's what they're called, Mana Beast suits, began to turn away from the route of the first Elacrians and began toward the new arrivals, but even I could see that they were struggling to organize. This fresh wave of enemies was more organized and dedicated to the fight, and they showed no inclination to break free of the defense and into the city. Instead, taking the fight directly to any Dicathans they saw. The closest of the breached tunnels was only a level below us. They need to get moving and do something because they're just kind of like looking at this shit that they need to go. The closest of the breached tunnels were only a level below us, and already the Elacrians were spilling up the road. We would be trapped with our backs against the massive iron gates, and there was no way we'd reach the bunkers now. We need to head back up, toward the palace, I said, finally deciding on a course. If we avoid the highway, we can probably stay away from the advancing forces and the worst of the fighting until we're almost there. As I spoke, I reached out for Boo, mentally calling him. Knowing Mom was safe inside the Earthborn Institute gave me the confidence to summon him away from her. And the big guardian bear appeared beside. So she can now... Okay, this is cool as shit. So this is new. So she can now control and like summon Boo when she needs. So it's not like, oh, her emotions getting the best of her and she's like scared and then he just pops up. She can now summon him whenever she wants to at this point. That's cool. That's cool, man. She's been leveling up, man. She really has. So she reached out for Boo, mentally calling him, and the big guardian bear appeared beside me with a faint pop. I scratched him between the eyes. Thanks, big guy. He rumbled. Then his dark eyes landed dangerously on the others aside from Kara. They backed away nervously. So he's familiar with Kara. All the rest of them, he's like, I don't know about you motherfuckers, yo. I turned to lead them back up the cavern, but three Alacrian battle groups had already broken away and were quickly marching toward us. Behind them, two of the Mana Beast machines slammed into the front lines of the larger force. You're my prisoners, and your mission in this city is over. If you try to escape, I'll have no choice but to kill you, I said, trying to add a level of fierceness to my voice that I didn't feel. Kara suddenly took me roughly by the arm and began marching in the direction of the other Alacrians. What are you doing? I hissed nervously. Boo rumbled, bristling. She shot me a glare. Just play along, she said from the corner of her mouth. The sudden hostility didn't extend to her tone of voice. I steadied my breathing and trusted her completely. Okay, so what she got planned? So right now this situation, they got Alacrians and battle groups coming toward them. Let's see, behind them, two of the Mana Beast machines slammed into the front lines of the larger force. So they're marching toward them quickly. You're my prisoners, right? She suddenly took her by the arm and began marching in the direction of the other Alacrians. Oh, so she's taking her toward the other Alacrians that's supposed to be coming toward them, I think. So she trusted her completely. You there, who is in command of this force? Kara yelled when the Alacrian soldiers were still 50 feet or more away. There is no sign of our target here. Report to your commander. We're falling back. A short, thick woman. A short, thick woman who could have been mistaken for a dwarf eyed Kara's horns. A Vitra blooded among the rebels and traitors? That's a surprise. And a damn shame. No mind, though. I've got my orders and you've got yours. Do your bloody job or the High Sovereign will light you up like a candle. Isn't that right? I've done my job, Kara insisted, holding herself firmly, her presence commanding despite her fatigue. The signal needs to be sent. Lance Arthur Lewin isn't in... Wait a second, the woman interrupted, her focus settling on me. Her eyes flicked between me and Boo, then went wide. You've captured one of our targets. Wait. How is... Yo, so Ellie's one of their targets? I guess that makes sense, right? Because leverage, using them as leverage, as bait. Wait a second, the woman interrupted, her focus settling on me, and her eyes flicking between me and Boo, and then went wide. So this changes things, because if she considers Ellie one of the targets, then they're going to want to capture her. And Kara can't let them do that. She wouldn't let them do that regardless. And then Ellie's not going to let them do that either. So, unless they want to do like the whole pretend, let me go undercover type of thing, but I don't think that's going to happen. So, you catch one of our targets. How do you do that then? Instead of waiting for an answer, she looked at the man next to her, a wire-thin mage wearing dark battle robes with crimson pauldrons, however you say that, and blood-red chain lining peeking through. That's her, isn't it? The sister. She's even got the bear, like they said. I felt my eyes widening before I could stop myself. What? It is, the woman said, practically shouting. Hand her over. We'll deliver her to Scythe Melsbury directly. Kara glanced at me. Yeah, bro, this is not going the way that she thought it was going to go. Kara glanced at me, caught wrong-footed. I gave the smallest of nods. Okay. I was about to say, is this not like, okay, let's fuck him up? Or is this not like, okay, let me just go with it? I don't think they're going to just go with it. Spinning, I ripped my arm free of her grip, unslung my bow from my shoulder, drew, and fired at the enemy soldier's throat before her brows even began. Bruh, yo, that's insane. I fired at the enemy soldier's throat before her brows even finished rising, before she even realized what was going on. She ripped free, unslung her bow, drew and fired. Do you know how fast you gotta be in order to do some shit like that? Like that's faster than some Oliver Queen or I think it's Oliver Queen. I think it was Oliver Queen. Fucking what is it? The fucking Arrow. What's the one dude from the Marvels? I don't even know. Faster than all they ass. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. A shield of green tinged wind enveloped my target as the thin man cast a spell and my arrow burst against it. Okay, got the shield. Got the shield. Kara lunged forward, her hands sprouting black flames. At the same time, she melted away into several ghostly copies of herself, each one drawn in gray fire. The stout woman was bringing up her gauntlet fist to defend herself, but Kara reappeared right in front of her, and her flame-wreathed hand pierced the shield and wrapped around the woman's throat. The black fire didn't burn the woman's flesh. Instead, it almost looked like she was being drawn into her pores. It was being drawn into her pores. The soldier let out a choked gasp. One gauntleted fist slammed into Kara's chest. Blue hair waved like a flag as Kara was tossed backwards. A secondary shield, appearing far too late to help, dampened the blow as Seth struggled to react in time. Kara hit the ground hard, her breath rushing out in a pained gasp. Man, Kara's so weak now, yo. Kara would be able to fuck all of them up so quick. But she's weak, man. She's weak. I dodged away from a blast of concussive sound, threw out 3 small discs of condensed mana. Those condensed discs of mana, those things are powerful though. If she can explode one of those and they can have them get caught, they'll get fucked up. And she threw out 3 small discs of condensed mana. She's like Batman, yo. Like she's like she literally, she got mana reserves that she got in her body that she can call on or use anytime she wants. She got arrows. Well, she's kind of like the arrow, right? Kind of like Oliver Queen, right? She got arrows. Her arrows can explode. She got explosive arrows. She got discs. She can throw the discs. Them bitches explode. And like next thing you know, she gonna get like a fucking. She can probably shoot an arrow and then be able to like swing off of it and start flying or some shit, man. That'd be some crazy. That could be so crazy. Anyway, so she dodged away from a concussive blast. She threw the 3 small discs of condensed mana, tucked into a roll, and came back up to my feet with the arrow of golden light against the string of my bow. Kara struggled to stand as the arrow struck her in the chest. Wait, who? When? I can't wait. Wait. And came back up to my feet with with an arrow of golden light against the string of my bow. Kara struggled to stand. So she shot her in it. Bruh, so she can shoot arrows to give people mana from a distance? Bruh, she got so much utility. Like, she got so much utility right now. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. So not only can she give people mana, but she can shoot golden arrows to give people mana from a distance. That's crazy. That's crazy. So golden light against the string of her bow, Kara struggled to stand as the arrow struck her in the chest. It melted against her body and wrapped around her, giving her a protective layer of pure mana. So she can give them mana and give them like protection. Kind of like the same thing she did for Boo. She like used her shit to protect Boo. She can do the same thing with the mana. Man, that's wild, yo. That's so wild. The stout Alacrian soldier was already on the ground. Black fire dancing from her mouth, nose, and eyes. I could feel the mana burning in her flesh. Boo let out a resounding roar and charged. The shield cursed and started to fall back. Meldrew wants the girl alive if possible, but don't hesitate to kill her if necessary. Several of the other Alacrians surged forward, weapons drawn and spells prepared. The disc of mana exploded, sending the 2 remaining strikers and 1 caster flying as the shield struggling to react. Boo pounced on the fallen caster, who was only saved by a gleaming shield of black stone that formed a dome over them. A winged creature flashed by overhead, diving into the chaos and tossing the remaining Alacrians aside. The dragons! I thought, my heart in my throat. But it wasn't a dragon. Nor was it a beast. At least not entirely. Okay, so it's not a dragon. It's not a beast. A winged creature. The mechanical, they got a mechanical, like, winged creature dragon type of thing? The mechanical mana beast form stood at least 9 feet tall. That's tall as hell. 9 feet tall and looked kind of like a lithe griffin, I guess, a lithe griffin, standing on its hind legs. Steel gray feathered wings opened out to its sides like scythes. And as it spun, the feathers sliced through a barrier of gusting wind, and then the thin shield behind it. The form wielded a huge, glowing orange sword and one taloned foreclaw, which it brought down on a reeling striker. The big Alacrian seemed infantile next to the huge machine, and his mana-imbued blade like a child's toy. Steel sparked, and the striker's arm gave way a moment before the glowing hot steel parted his flesh from shoulder to hip. Woo! A sparking ball of lightning glanced off the gray feathers and flew harmlessly away. One wing came around to block a steaming ball of black ice and metal spikes. As the machine spun, I saw through the transparent mana sheathing where the beast's throat used to be to the woman within. Although her eyes were covered by the same rune-etched band of silk I've seen on the other pilots, I still recognized her. Kara Bladeheart, yo! That's sick! Okay. Bro, Kara got the fucking wing machine creature. She got the sword. She got everything. She decked out. I seen her around the labs working with Gideon and Emily to test my spell form. I didn't know her, but I knew about her, especially how her core had been destroyed years ago during the attack on Zyra's Academy that caused Arthur to be arrested by the Lances. But watching her move now, I wouldn't have guessed that she had no magic of her own. She fought like a silver core augmenter. With the talons of her free claw, she ripped open an enemy caster, then did a kind of mid-air pirouette. I think that's how you say that. That's how you say that word. I never knew that's how it was spelled. At the conclusion of the spin, several feathers launched from her wings like arrows. A few pinged off the barriers being conjured by the enemy shields, but more struck home, dropping 3 of the enemy mages in a single strike. Man, she's killing them right now. She's killing them. A woman wrapped in conjured stone and metal armor and spikes threw herself on Claire's back and pummeled spiked fist into the mana barrier covering parts of her exposed lower back, which could be seen through a mesh of mechanical braces. Shaking off the horrified awe of the fight, I sent an arrow of pure mana through the last striker's eye. She went limp and slumped off Claire, who proceeded to wade through the remaining Alacrians with brutal efficiency. When the last shield fell and the dome of obsidian collapsed, Boo's jaws closed over the final mage's skull with a wet crunch. Then he returned to my side, sniffing the air warily as he regarded Claire. She, in turn, was scanning our surroundings, apparently deciding it was safe enough for the moment. She turned the griffin's beak face toward me. Eleanor Lewin, you shouldn't be out here, she said. Her voice was muffled and distorted, almost as if she were speaking to me from underwater. The griffin's head shifted slightly so Claire's face pointed towards Kara, who was still on one knee. And Lady Cara Denoir, you very likely shouldn't be either. You will both make likely targets for the enemy. These mages, I indicated the field of corpses, said they were looking for me. Claire nodded once, sharply, the beak of her machine scything down. Then we need to get you to safety. I can carry you, but only you. I've got Angel with me, I heard to say. These two both need healers immediately. If you could give us the palace, help guard us, we could... Suddenly Claire was spinning and bringing her blades up to deflect a blow I hadn't even seen coming. Bro, so that's the experience. That's the experience level. So Claire is even more aware of her surroundings than Ellie is, which just goes to her her experience in a battlefield. But even though she hasn't been fighting in a minute, it's been a minute since she's been fighting. She still got that experience. She was probably still doing a bunch of training and shit. Get something to drink. So yeah, so she was spinning her blades coming up to deflect the blow I hadn't even seen coming. The shockwave threw me off my feet, and I landed on my back hard enough to knock the air from my lungs. When I looked up, I found myself on the edge of a crater that had been smashed into the street outside the Earthborn Institute. Claire was facing down at the center of the crater. A woman, okay, with pure white hair, jet black horns stood over her. The woman's dark eye, is that Melsry? It could be Melsry. The woman's dark eyes were full of disgust as she regarded the combination of organic mana beast and magical mechanisms that supported it. Through the transparent patches of mana along the back of the torso, I could see Claire struggling inside. The same black flames from before, that's probably her that let go of all those black flames over the Institute. The same black flames from before wreathed one of the woman's long curved swords. She raised the blaze over Kara's helpless form, then brought it down with a flash of dark fire. Clang. Wind blew through my hair from the force of the strike, and nausea threatened to overwhelm me. Did she just die, bro? I hope she didn't just die, man. Man, I hope she didn't just die. I hope Claire didn't just die right now, bro. Like, she just came in whooping ass. And then all of a sudden, she just fucking come in and it's like, boom, over with in 2 seconds. Like, there's no way, man. There's no way. I can see Claire struggling inside. The same black flames from before. She raised the blaze over Claire's helpless form, then brought it down with a flash of dark fire. Clang. Wind blew from my hair from the force of the strike, and nausea threatened to overwhelm me. The fire-wreathed sword was hovering hovering a foot and a half above the back of Claire's neck. A crimson spear. We know who got a crimson spear, bro. We know who got a crimson spear. We know who this is. Okay, so a fire-wreathed sword was hovering a foot and a half above the back of Claire's neck. So is that her sword? Because she had an orange sword, though. A crimson spear had appeared beneath it, catching the blow. Oh, that was her sword. That must be Melsry. That was Melsry's sword. A crimson spear had appeared beneath it, catching the blow. Lance Byron held the spear's shaft with both hands. That's what I'm talking about, man. Coming to the rescue. That's what we're talking about. She can't just come in there, start beating some ass, and then all of a sudden she's just done that quick, man. Like, no way. So Byron held the spear's haft in both hands, and the bright blue lightning ran across the surface of the armor, covering his straining arms. The woman regarded him. He fought her last time. And he's like, yo, it's going to be different this time. It's going to be different. So yeah, with bright blue lightning ran across the surface of the armor, covering his straining arms. The woman regarded him with red-rimmed eyes. When she spoke, her voice was thick with fatigue. For my sister's death, I've come to claim several deaths in return. As I am old, I will start with yours, Thunderlord. Thunderlord, okay. Byron grunted as he pushed her sword up and away, forcing her back a step. Evil begets evil, Scythe. You can't hope to live a life of dealing death without the same death eventually finding you. That's some wise words. Okay. She shifted her stance to something a little more cautious and began to circle around him to have a clear path toward us. Evil, she scoffed, jaded. The High Sovereign wants Arthur Leywin's core, but I don't give a shit about any of that. Leywin killed Viessa, and so I am honor-bound to kill his sister. After that, all these Asuras can choke on their own blood for all I care. Byron's back foot shifted, and the stone cracked beneath him as he pushed off, driving the crimson spear forward in a multiple quick thrust. The scythe, I assumed to be Melsry, blocked and countered with the burning sword, even as her second blade became wrapped in cutting lines of black wind. This second sword snapped out, and the black wind carved the air all around us. I curled into a ball where I lay, instinctively pushing outward with mana to form a silvery bubble. She can make silvery bubbles? The bombardment of cuts and slashes tore my... Wait. The second sword snapped out and the black wind carved the air all around us. So she's fighting him with one sword and then using the other sword to attack Ellie. That's crazy. I curled into a ball where I lay, instinctively pushing outward with mana to form a silvery bubble. The bombardment of cuts and slashes tore my mana to ribbons in an instant. A heavy, furry presence crushed down on me, pressing me. Oh, Boo, man. Boo coming in with the defense. Using his body, bro. A heavy, furry presence crushed down on me, pressing me into the streets. Metal screamed as it was ripped apart, and something heavy struck the ground hard enough to make it tremble beneath me. I couldn't open my eyes, but see, this is what's so crazy, though. So we got different levels of fights. We got Ellie over there fighting. She can take on some of the She can take on some of the Alacrians, like the regular Alacrians, like the shields and the augmenters or whatever you want to call them, the strikers. Yeah, strikers and the shields. She can take them on, right? But then you got a little step above. You got Claire in the suit. She over there taking on them with ease. But then when you get someone like a Scythe comes in, you ain't no match. It's literally just no match at all. It's like you can't even put up a fight like at all. It's just spells just too powerful, movements too fast, like all that shit. So she did good. Claire did good though. She was actually able to deflect one of the strikes or whatever, the one that Ellie didn't see coming. So that was good. But yeah, she ain't no match. So then you got Byron coming in because he's actually a match. So it's just crazy, man. The different power levels. Just like you go from one power level, you doing good, you think you got it. Then some big ass fucking overpowered person comes in and just like boom. But then you got somebody like Arthur comes in and just make Melsry look like fucking like she's a nobody. So it's just like power levels, man. Fucking power levels. So she can't open her eyes. But I felt each release of mana like a physical blow to my chest. Pain grunts, desperate moans, and frightened screams issued from all around me. But I couldn't move even an inch as Spellfire tore the streets to shreds. This isn't the Relic Tombs, I thought with sudden desperation. If I die here, I won't just step out of a portal to try again. No, it's not. The desperate thought seemed to sap my strength and clutch my lungs, making it impossible to catch my breath. I couldn't fight Scythes or Retainers, or Wraiths like Arthur could. I wasn't even as strong as Claire or Kara. And I'd never get that strong if I died, huddled on the ground, fear pumping into me with every painful squeezing of my heart. That's true. Boo's pain leaked through our shared connection. My eyes snapped open. Through Boo's shaggy fur. Is she about to unlock like the second phase, bruh? If she unlocks the second phase, it's gonna be dope. That's gonna be dope. My eyes snapped open. Through Boo's shaggy fur, I could just make out Seth's huddled nearby. His focus on holding the shield around Valen and Nola, both of whom were lying unmoving. Valen's unmoving now too? Sheesh. Both of whom were lying unmoving on the ground. Mela was crawling away from us toward where the gates of the Earthborn Institute had collapsed under the weight of Melsry's spellfire. Let me up, Boo. We have to move, I shouted, struggling to free myself. The heavy weight and dense fur eased off, and I scrambled forward towards Seth and the others. Grab the boy, I ordered my companion as I absorbed another of my stored mana reserves and imbued mana into my body. Boo grabbed Valen, lifting him up like a mother shadow panther carrying her kitten. How does she know about shadow panthers? Carrying her kittens as I threw Enola over my shoulder and held out my hand to Seth. He stared at it for what felt like forever, then grabbed it and let himself be pulled up. Kara was ahead of me, lifting Mela and dragging one arm around her shoulder as she could support the younger girl's weight. I flinched as a shadow fell over me, but when I glanced backward, I found Claire, blood-stained but on her feet again. Her wings spread wide as she tried to shield us all from behind. Go, she shouted, pushing. This is cool. I like to see like they're all working together trying to get the fuck away because they can't even be around the aftermath of this fight because it's so powerful. So I like that they're all just kind of helping each other trying to get away. You got fucking Seth making the shield, trying to protect. Boo protecting Ellie. And then you got Claire. She's not down and out. She's using her wings, trying to protect them. You know, guard the flank and shit. So that's cool. That's cool. Instinctively, my gaze tracked across the mechanism she piloted. It was generating its own shield barrier from within, but the potent aura of mana it was giving off was weakening by the second as blades of wind bit into her. Uncertain it would work, I pushed out my own mana, targeting the core of the machine, a beast core, I assume, and a very powerful one at that. My mana infused the beast core, and the machine's aura intensified. There was okay, so she can power up beast cores now. Damn, I'm telling you, man. Ellie's utility is unmatched. It's unmatched, man. She can work in any situation, any scenario. Like her flexibility is crazy. I drained yet another one of my mana reserves. So that's like she had 5. She had 4. So she's probably got either 1 or 2 left. And hurried my pace, quickly catching up with Mela and Kara as we tried to flee into the now open outer courtyard of the Earthborn Institute, which would at least give us some shelter from the rapid fire battle happening behind us. A forest of dwarven filled the dust choked gap where the Institute gates have been. You know what's so crazy though? I'm thinking about this shit. Like they getting all the aftermath of this fight, whereas Arthur was there. That fight would have been over in like 5 seconds. That fight would have been over in 5 seconds. Everybody wouldn't even been able to get killed or get no aftermath. It would have been like, boom, over. Completely over. Fucking eat the blade, through the core, it's a wrap. It would have been over so quick, man. So anyway, so a force of dwarven filled, or dwarves filled the dust-choked gap where the Institute gates have been. Inside. But also, now they can go inside. Okay. Bolgermud shouted, that's a horrible ass name. Bolgermud. Like what the fuck? Anyway, he shouted, waving to us. Seth shot me an uncertain glance, and I pushed his back, urging him onward. I mean, ain't no other choice, Seth. Where the fuck are you gonna go? We all broke into a hobbling jog, moving between the lines of doors with their weapons bared. They fell into a position across the opening after we passed, magic humming around them as they focused on defensive spells. Outside the collapsed gates, Lance Byron moved like a lightning bolt, and Melsry responded as a tornado of black fire and wind. Their exchange is little more than a blur of mana-tinged motion that even my enhanced senses could not follow. In the face of such power, the tall wall seemed like a comfort. So this makes me think. So where is Ceres and Lyra and Cyrus? If they're not fighting Byron anymore, I wonder what happened. We huddled behind the dwarves, alone at the center of the large, barren courtyard that led down into the Institute and our home. There, Valen stirred when Boo set it roughly on the ground. Then, sat up blearily. Yeah, I eased Enola down beside him more carefully. She was still unconscious, her skin pale and clammy. Mela and Seth hurried over to administer what care they could to their friends. I don't have much longer to be reading this, so I can't really. I'm gonna just read. I don't dare waste even a moment of the brief reprieve, and I started absorbing mana. By activating my spell form, I could pull it more quickly and hurry its purification. But I only had moments before a horn was blasting, resounding throughout the entire cavern, seeming to issue from stones themselves and filling the air with crackling tension. That's the signal. The city's been cleared, Seth said breathlessly, looking around as if expecting an explanation to manifest out of the dust. At least for those of us who came with Ceres, they should begin pulling out of the city now. Mela let out a breath of relief that turned into squirming pain. She reached around and clutched clumsily at the small of her back. She was flickering with visible displays of light. Oh, wait. Is the spell form? Is Corona's trap? Is it starting to work? She was flickering with visible displays of light. Kara grabbed the girl's face in both hands, forcing Miller to look at her. This isn't over. Mission parameters have changed. You need to retreat from the city and await further orders, but you are a prisoner of war. Think it, girl. Mela squeezed her eyes shut tight, a look of intense concentration on her face. The rest of us watched breathlessly until a few seconds later, the crackling light along her spine faded. Oh, close. Shouts from the line of the dwarven guards drew my attention as a line of cutting a void wind crashing into them, ripping up from the stonework, but just missing any of them as Byron managed to deflect part of the mana. My hand slapped over my ears as the following thunderclap, and Mel's vanished in a flash of light that left the image of a crimson spear imprinted on my eyeballs. So she retreated too. Following the flash, the world seemed to go green, and I blinked, trying to get rid of the afterimage. The green fog now clouding my vision only thickened. Until the doors were nearly hidden from sight, that's when the screaming started. The green tint wasn't an after effect of the flash, but a thickly pooling noxious gas that was swallowing our dwarven defenders. As I watched, their exposed skin began to darken, then blister and burst open in bloody pools. One by one, they clawed at their faces, eyes, and throats before collapsing. Out of the mist, stepping heedlessly through their remains, came a creature that seemed to have crawled up from my deepest nightmares. She had stick-thin limbs that stuck out like exaggerated angles like a spider. Is this the last of the siblings? Is this the last of the poison siblings? She had stick-thin limbs that stuck out like exaggerated angles like a spider. Thin, damp swamp green hair clung to the sides of her malformed face, and rags of dark cloth were practically glued to her jutting ribs. Retainer Brave, or Brevre, however the fuck you say it, Seth stammered. Despite his terror, he conjured a shield between us and the horrible woman. She bared her teeth in what might have been an evil grin, then swept the clawed hand through the air. The shield shattered, and Seth let out a pained gasp. Kara stood between us and the retainer. Ghostly flames danced along her body and the ground around her. The retainer cocked her head and sniffed like a wild mana beast, inspecting Kara wearily. As I watched her move, recognition sparked in my mind. She looked like the retainer Tessia had fought in Ellenwire. And like his brother, the one Boo and I had killed. With a bestial snarl, the retainer lunged to her left, slashing her claws in the air. Kara melted away into the shadowy flames, which parted as cutting mana sliced through where Kara had been only an instant before. There was a glint of silver and beams of black fire launched at Brevre, I think that's how you say that, right? Brevre? The retainer batted them aside, and her dark eyes turned to the rest of us. Boo charged with a roar, but she caught him by the snout with one hand, spun with snake strike quickness, and hurled him away using the force of his own weight and momentum. I drew and fired, my golden arrow nearly parting Brevre's bed-draggled hair before impacting Boo and wrapping him in protective barrier only an instant before he crashed into the guard tower and was swallowed by an avalanche of stones. That's quick thinking too. Holy shit. Claire, towering over the retainer in her mechanical monstrosity, brought down the glowing. So Claire's probably her best bet. She needs to probably give Claire a little bit more mana, and that's their best bet of surviving because Kara's not there yet, man, and she don't have access to all her runes. So Claire, towering over the retainer in her mechanical monstrosity, brought down the glowing orange blade in an overhand arc. Brevre skittered out of the way, but Claire hurled a wing, and the sharp feathers spread out wide, the cutting edge sweeping directly at Brevre's neck. The retainer dipped beneath the attack, ripped her claws through the machine's left leg, which was covered in fur and had a paw like a world lion, and then breathed out a spray of acidic bile that stuck to the machine wherever it touched and began eating into the barrier of the mana. I watched this with one eye, searching for the best opportunity to assist. With the other eye, I was scanning our surroundings, trying to keep track of my companions and fight beyond the gates. Seth was huddled over the others, his shield wrapping them all in a dome of mana. Kara flashed around the battlefield, hidden within her illusory flames, and sending lances of soul fire at Brevre's back. I tried not to look at the group of dwarves, including Bolgermud. They were all dead, and their corpses were a gruesome sight. There was a surge of mana from Claire's griffin suit. Her wings beat, lifting her a few feet in the air as she avoided a slash to her throat. Then the oversized sword exploded with a dry heat I could feel from 30 feet away. The suit's aura was suddenly was suddenly visibly as a wavering gray light emanating from within it, and an orange echo of the blade followed it as it moved. I released my mana arrow. It split into two. These two splits then split again. Okay, oh shit! And the resulting barrage sank into the solid stone. In the stone? Of the courtyard tiles. Claire surged down in an orange and gray blur. Bavaria started to skitter away. Then the field of arrows began to explode around her. Oh, okay. Knocking her off balance. Both swords and the talon clutching it hitched in midair as they came into contact with the mana clad in Bavaria's gray skin. Then hot steel sizzled through the flesh, muscle, and into the bone as the sword lodged into Bavaria's shoulder. The retainer gave an inhuman screech as a nova of venomous green mana exploded out of her. So that's probably like her last ditch effort of just like I'm gonna take you with me. Ah! Fucking the venom and shit. Claire was sent spiraling, or the green mana exploded out of her. Claire was sent flying backwards, end over end, and landed in a heap, her wings tangled. Slowly, Bavaria straightened. She glanced at the black blood flowing from her wound, then seemed to discard it. A black fire lance bore down on her, but she deflected it back at Kara, whose illusory flames had faded, and Kara was forced to leap out of the way. Bavaria focused on me again. Run! I shouted to anyone who would listen, but I didn't follow my own advice. Instead, I stepped toward the retainer, outwardly calm, hoping to keep her attention on me. Listening to me, Seth was hurrying to Mana Beast. Steph was hurrying to the collapsed Mana Beast machine. The mana barriers that helped to bind the construct together had all faded, and there was no longer any hint of an aura emanating from the Mana Beast core inside it. But Claire was still moving within the prone mechanism. I drew the string of my bow and conjured an arrow against it. Do you have two brothers? I asked, playing for time. The horrible woman's head turned too far to the side as she regarded me silently. All right, hold on a second. This chapter is lasting a lot longer than I thought. Let me reset my timer really quick. I'll be right back. Oh, shit. But yeah, this chapter's lasting a lot longer than I thought. This is good though. This is shit. I mean, this chapter's not even over yet. I'll give this chapter like a 9, like a 9.5. Like this is a really good chapter. So let's see. So she said, "Do you have two brothers?" I asked, playing for time. The horrible woman's head turned too far to the side as she regarded me silently. I think I met them, I continued, my limbs trembling slightly. My friend Tessia killed one, the retainer. She's the legacy now. Bavaria scowled and she began to walk toward me. Maybe you don't know, I said, resisting the urge to take a step back. But your older brother, I killed him, not Tessia. She stopped, her clawed fingers twitching. Impossible. You are a gnat. Kara had moved to Valen and Enola and was dragging them as far away from the combat as possible. Seth was helping Claire disentangle herself from the machine. Both of them wrapped in his shield spell. Behind Bavaria, Boo shook himself free of the rubble, his small eyes jumping from me to the retainer and back. His urge to attack burned angrily in my mind. Maybe, but I've proven pretty hard to swat so far, witch. The arrow flew with the soft hum of my bowstring. Bavaria flowed away from it, not moving her feet, but contorting her torso to avoid the strike. The arrow exploded just behind her, and Boo charged through the white mana, slamming into Bavaria from behind. I hit him with another barrier arrow just as her claws came around to bite into his side, and his jaws closed over her shoulder. Oh shit. Oh shit. Pulling from my last mana reservoir, I loosened arrow after arrow, forcing them full of mana so they exploded around Bavare's feet and head, knowing I couldn't do much damage but keeping her off balance as best as I could as I sprinted for Kara. A resonant hum came from the mana infused in the charwood doors leading into the Earthborn Institute itself, and they burst open with enough force to crack the facade. I think that's how you say that. I don't know how you say that shit. Huh. I was trying to see how you. It doesn't say it. Whatever. Dozens of doors spilled out with a thunderous battle cry and began hurling spells and weapons at the retainer. Trapped in Boo's jaw, she couldn't avoid. Oh, she couldn't avoid the battery of attacks, and small wounds appeared all over her twisted body. Relief washed through me, though not because of the reinforcements. Over the head of the small army of the Earthborn soldiers near the rear of the long entrance hall, being held back by Hornfell's Earthborn, I could see my mother. Her eyes locked onto mine, and I felt her distress like a fist around my heart, but also relief and, more importantly, even trust. In that instant of connection, all her emotions seemed to flood into me, and I felt the same burst of confidence I got when Boo infused me with his will. Oh, so she's getting her confidence from Alice now. That's interesting. Seth and Claire made it to the doors, and while Kara supported Valen with one arm and had Enola draped over her other shoulder, turning to face the battle. I followed behind the others through the lines of doors while continuing to release arrow after arrow, some targeting Retainer, others fortifying Boo, who was absorbing the brunt of her fury. I was halfway across the entrance barrier, and I could hear my mother shouting for me when the wall into the institute burst apart. Everything was flying stone. Wait, how did a wall burst apart? Everything was flying stone, steel, and fire. I lost the sense of up and down, and my vision went white as pain overrode all my other senses. Blinking rapidly, I searched around myself, trying to get some sense of what had happened. Dust choked the air, and lightning cracked across the floor. Dust choked the air, and lightning cracked across the floor, through which a kind of stench had dug out of the tiled floor. Little black fires burned everywhere I looked. The Earthborn soldiers were scattered across the floor like abandoned rag dogs. What the hell is happening? In a crater at the far side of the room was Lance Byron. Someone shifted beside me. Wait, I thought Melsry left. And when they all retreated, when they found out that Arthur wasn't there. Someone shifted beside me, and I looked over to see my mom, partially covered in rubble. Kara was already back on her feet, but she was sagging, her mana signature very weak again. I wasn't sure where the others were. An overwhelming mana signature approached. I turned toward the source, where the entire front of the Earthborn Institute had been blasted away. A silhouette floated within the distance, one arm holding the other. One arm holding the other. The figure's posture seemed fatigued, even hanging in the air. As she drifted forward, her dark eyes came clear, and Scythe Melsry was staring down at me, and only me. So fucking Byron lost? I mean, he was probably fatigued from fighting Ceres, maybe? But like, Byron lost? I thought she retreated when everybody else left. And that's it. Ain't that a bitch? Well, I thought she retreated, man. I thought she retreated when everybody else did. I didn't know she was still fighting Byron. And Byron's in the crater? Get your ass out the crater, man. And where is fucking, what's her name? Where's Varay? We need to see how strong Varay is. We got Micah, we got Byron, Now we got Veray. Varay's probably taking on two sides or some shit. She's she's probably doing something crazy. I don't know, but okay, okay, cool, okay, cool. But yeah, this is a really good chapter, man. This is a really good chapter, man. Ellie, man, she got some. She been making some gains, man. She been in the gym. She been working. You know, like her utility, she can make. She can shoot people and give them mana from a distance with her arrows. She can split her arrows and have them bitches explode. She can do a lot. She can do a lot. She can call Boo whenever she needs to, and have him pop up near her and shit. So yeah. So Elliot was a star of this chapter, but that's cool though. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I get a shot like a 9.5. This is a really good chapter. Got Claire, man. Claire coming in. She fighting and shit. But we know the power levels though. We know the power levels. She's not at that level. She can't fight with no retainers, with no scythe or anything like that. So that's kind of where we're at. But this is cool. This is definitely a cool chapter. Give it a 9.5. But I'm gonna get out of here, man. I appreciate y'all joining the live, man. And drop me some likes. How about the channel like always? Appreciate everybody who do give me some likes. And I will check you guys out in the next video. I thought y'all would have more to say, but y'all just quiet today. But that's cool. That's cool. Appreciate y'all. Peace.